In the shadowy corners of San Francisco's tech scene during the late 1980s, a small group of cryptographers, programmers, and libertarian thinkers began meeting to confront a looming digital crisis. As governments around the world expanded their surveillance capabilities in the growing digital landscape, these individuals saw the danger clearly. Privacy was under threat. They called themselves Cypherpunks, a fusion of cipher and cyberpunk, symbolizing their belief in using cryptographic tools to resist centralized control. This group didn't just discuss technology, they developed a radical philosophy. To them, strong cryptography wasn't just a technical curiosity, it was the last defense against a surveillance state. They argued that in the electronic age, privacy wasn't a luxury or a preference. It was essential to preserve freedom itself. The roots of the cypherpunk movement trace back to the crypto wars of the 1970s through the 1990s, when governments, particularly the United States, classified cryptographic software as a munition and tried to restrict its use. But the technology couldn't be contained. Pioneers like David Chaum saw cryptography as both a technical tool and a political weapon. His work on digital cash laid the groundwork for anonymous financial systems. Activists like Phil Zimmermann risked prosecution when he released Pretty Good Privacy, PGP, in the early 90s, bringing military-grade encryption to the public. It was one of the first acts of cryptographic civil disobedience. Meanwhile, thinkers like Timothy May provided the philosophical backbone. His 1988 Crypto-Anarchist Manifesto envisioned a world where cryptography would break the grip of governments and enable untraceable communication and commerce. As personal computing and internet technology accelerated, these ideas found fertile ground. The cypherpunk ethos, a mix of technical brilliance and political rebellion, began to take shape. In 1992, the movement gained focus with the launch of the Cypherpunk mailing list by Eric Hughes, Jude Milhan, and John Gilmore. This list became the central forum for hundreds of brilliant minds to exchange ideas, debate encryption protocols, and design the tools of digital resistance. It's almost certain that the still anonymous creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, was influenced, if not directly involved, in these discussions. In 1993, Eric Hughes published the Cypherpunk Manifesto, a short but powerful declaration of intent. It stated plainly that privacy is not a privilege granted by governments. It's a right that must be claimed by individuals through the use of cryptography. Privacy is necessary for an open society, he wrote. We cannot expect governments, corporations, or other large, faceless organizations to grant us privacy. We must defend our own privacy if we expect to have any. The cypherpunks didn't stop at theory. They built real, working systems to bring their ideas to life. Phil Zimmermann's PGP gave everyday users a way to secure their communications. SSL, which later became HTTPS, brought encryption to the web. And in 1997, Adam Back introduced Hashcash, an anti-spam tool that required computational effort to send emails. It was an early form of proof of work that would later become a core part of Bitcoin. At the same time, others focused on creating digital money. In 1990, David Chaum launched DigiCash, which allowed for anonymous transactions but relied on a central authority, and ultimately failed. Wei Dai's 1997 B-Money and Nick Szabo's 1998 BitGold took steps toward decentralized digital cash, introducing key concepts like pseudonymous accounts and chain-based proof systems. Yet, all of them struggled with the double spending problem: how to prevent a digital coin from being copied and reused without needing a central database. This unsolved challenge hung over the movement for years, blocking the path to a truly decentralized, private currency. Then came the crash of 2008. Amid widespread distrust in banks and governments, a pseudonymous developer named Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper on the cryptography mailing list. Titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, it described a way to solve the double spending problem using a decentralized network, a public ledger, and Hashcash-style proof of work. Satoshi's innovation lay in the blockchain, a chain of time-stamped transaction blocks verified by a distributed network of computers. Combined with a limited money supply and pseudonymous addresses, Bitcoin embodied cypherpunk principles in action: no central authority, no need to trust intermediaries, and protection from censorship or seizure. It wasn't a sudden invention. It was the product of decades of cypherpunk experimentation. From Hashcash to BitGold to B-Money, every piece had been tried before. Satoshi simply combined them into something that worked. Bitcoin's launch marked a turning point. It proved that private, decentralized money was not only possible, it could thrive. But the cypherpunk mission didn't end there. Today, over 60% of governments monitor cryptocurrency transactions. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are being designed with built-in surveillance features. Meanwhile, big tech platforms have turned financial data into a commodity, tracking nearly every digital transaction. Many crypto projects now mimic the traditional banking system instead of offering true alternatives. Privacy has become a marketing term rather than a principle. In response, the cypherpunk spirit persists. Developers are creating tools like Monero for untraceable payments, Samurai Wallet for Bitcoin privacy, and Nostr for censorship-resistant communication. Cutting-edge cryptography, such as zero-knowledge proofs and confidential transactions, promises a future where data can be verified without being exposed. At the frontier, decentralized identity systems could finally free us from relying on corporate login systems and state-issued IDs. The challenges ahead aren't only technical. Cypherpunks now wrestle with how to reconcile their ideals with regulatory realities, how to stay true to their mission as mainstream adoption grows, and how to defend against future threats like quantum computing that could break today's cryptography. Yet the tradition continues. Debate, innovation, and principled resistance remain at the heart of the movement, just as they were in the beginning. The cypherpunk legacy is one of the most important yet misunderstood movements of our time. It has already reshaped global finance, and it may determine the future of privacy, freedom, and personal autonomy in the digital age. Their story is both a blueprint and a warning, a testament to what determined individuals can build with nothing but ideas and code, and a reminder of what can be lost when convenience is traded for control. As the specter of digital authoritarianism looms larger, the cypherpunk message remains crystal clear. In the electronic age, our freedoms will not be preserved by governments or corporations, but by mathematics, code, and the decentralized systems we choose to build.